Have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and everything changes? They don't raise their voices, they don't beg, they don't even speak, but something about their presence, or more terrifyingly, their absence, disturbs the entire emotional landscape. The atmosphere shifts. People scramble. They wonder, worry, chase, feel. Now imagine if you became that person. Most people react. They feel something and immediately do something. Speak, defend, explain, please. But power doesn't react. Power observes. You've been conditioned your entire life to be available, to be agreeable, to be understandable, even when misunderstood, even when drained. And you know what that created? Predictability. And predictability is control. For them, not for you. Because anyone who knows your emotional triggers owns your internal map. And when you're always available, always explaining, you become a vending machine for comfort. Push a button, get a reaction, trigger a guilt, get compliance. That's not presence, that's programming. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." But most people never stop long enough to understand. They just respond, and every reaction feeds the puppet master. When someone gets under your skin, do you know why? Is it them? Or the part of yourself you haven't claimed yet? People who manipulate don't need to scream. They just need to find the unguarded parts of you and play them like strings. And the more you react, the more you teach them how to control you. Now, here's the twist. When you withdraw, not in fear, but in strategy, the game collapses. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop being available to every emotional crisis, you become an enigma. And that is the greatest threat. You're not giving them less. You're showing them what they never truly had, access to your true self. Because silence isn't weakness. It's direction. It's intent. It's force without noise. People are terrified of silence, not because it's empty, but because it leaves them alone with themselves. And most people aren't ready for that kind of confrontation. Let's talk about something dark. Always being available is not kindness. It's self-abandonment. It's believing that if you're always there for everyone, someone will finally be there for you. But that day doesn't come, and while you wait, you become invisible to yourself. Your energy, your psychic fuel, gets spent on fires that aren't yours to put out. Jung spoke of psychic energy as a limited resource. Every thought, every worry, every argument is an energetic investment. And the real question is this: are you investing in your evolution or feeding someone else's dysfunction? We all wear masks to be liked, to be accepted, to be safe, but sometimes that mask becomes your prison. Jung called this the persona, the version of yourself crafted to survive the world. But the cost: you forget what your real face even looked like. You say yes when you mean no. You respond to messages out of guilt. You explain yourself to people who don't even listen. You act strong to hide how drained you are. And all the while, the real you, the wild, raw, untamed you, rots in silence. There's a moment, a breaking point, when you stop playing the game, when you stop reacting, stop defending, stop proving. And in that space, something terrifying happens for those who once controlled you. They lose their grip. You see, they weren't attached to you. They were attached to your role, to your reactions, to your reliability. But when you disappear, when your silence says enough, their narrative falls apart. And that is where your power begins. Jung believed every individuation journey passes through a kind of sacred isolation, not depression, not loneliness, but a chosen silence, an inner retreat where you rebuild your sense of self, not based on approval, but on truth. In this retreat, you meet your shadow, the parts you denied, the desires you silenced, the rage you swallowed. And when you stop reacting, you start seeing. Really seeing. The loops, the manipulation, the masks. And suddenly, the room goes quiet. Not because you left, but because your silence redefined the air. You've been taught that being always available is love. It's not. It's emotional servitude. And the brutal truth? The more available you are, the less people value you. Why? Because abundance breeds indifference. When something is always there, it becomes background noise. But when you withdraw, intentionally, your absence gains weight. You become rare, not because you hide, but because you choose. Your energy, your time, your attention, these are sacred currencies, and not everyone deserves access. This kind of silence isn't easy. You will be misunderstood. You will be called cold, detached, selfish. Let them talk. Because you're not walking away in weakness. You're stepping back in mastery. Silence isn't passive. It's deliberate. It's a sword with no need to swing. And when you become inaccessible, not from ego, but from clarity, you reclaim the most powerful thing in existence, your psychic autonomy. You choose what deserves a response, what deserves your breath, what deserves your presence. Not everyone will understand you, and that's okay. You weren't meant to be understood by everyone, but you were meant to evolve, to disconnect from noise, to master your center, to speak with precision, or not at all. You were not born to be a puppet. You were born to cut strings. So now I ask you, with all sincerity, not as a command, but as a mirror, how much longer will you allow the world to pull your strings? Maybe, just maybe, it's time to pull them back.